Welcome to Brewer Territory, episode number 1 of the newest team podcast coming to the Foul Territory Network. I am your host, Curt Hogg of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. You may be familiar with my work. You may have read some of it here and there. I got a guy here whose work you probably are familiar with. 2017 National League All-Star, man of 72 career saves, one of the best reliever seasons in franchise history. We've got the man himself, Corey Knebel, as my co-host for the show. Corey, did you always want to become a podcaster? Was that the end goal? Forget big leagues, man.
Man, I'm glad to be here. Never saw myself doing this, but I'm excited for the opportunity, man. I can't wait to talk some Brewers.
So I'm media, you're a player, we're supposed to be at odds here. What do you feel like your relationship was with the media and with reporters as a player? Because there's a wide range for a lot of different guys of kind of how that relationship goes.
Man, that's a great question. Honestly, of all the teams I was with, media is different in, different states, obviously different teams, big markets, small markets. Milwaukee was kind of a perfect mixture of both. I really enjoyed it, man. They were really respectful. I was really close with Todd, Adam McCalvey. I mean, everybody from the top to the bottom. Always respectful of your personal space, respectful of, hey, the questions that you're going to ask. And a lot of time we talk, a lot of off-air conversations, and they respected that. It was, I could trust that, hey, this is not going to be recorded. None of this is going to be on air. So it was a good relationship with the Brewers, man.
Well, this is recorded. This is on air. Let's get now you can get all your thoughts out on the record for good. So with that in mind, let's just go a little bit of like what we're expecting to be, what we want to be in this. I know this is your first kind of venture into this area, but just off the bat, we're looking for 3 or so shows. We're going to be coming at you on podcast form. On YouTube, if that's how you take in your videos. I don't know, with the kids these days, you just take in your content in a lot of different ways. But yeah, we're going to be doing that a few times a week, coming at you, hopefully getting some player guests, some former teammates of yours maybe hopping on from time to time. So we're going to be coming at you regularly, not too long, 20, 30-ish minutes. And look, I'm just the guy who watches the game from the press box. You've seen it, from the dugout, from the mound, from the bullpen. So I'm excited to hear your perspective, the player perspective. You played for the man, Pat Murphy, as your bench coach. So I think that's going to be an awesome perspective that you can provide as well. Anything else that you want to add about what you're excited to bring to the pod, what you want this show to be, and what listeners and viewers can expect from us moving forward?
I think there's gonna be a lot to talk about, man. Especially, we're seeing the moves that are being made before this season's going, and the Brewers are in it. They always are going to be in it. So I'm excited to get to know these guys, to see what's going to develop, and man, I can't wait to dive into some Brewers baseball. That's it. Get me watching some more games, and let's go, Crew.
The one thing you know about the Brewers, Corey, especially in this era, is they're always going to be interesting. There's always going to be something to talk about one way or the other. And look at that. I got my Cactus League hat on. I'm not reporting for spring training yet. I still got a couple weeks to go. My colleague Todd, who you just talked about, he's down there taking care of it for us now, holding down the fort. But spring training starts for the Brewers officially in 2 days. Realistically, as you know, it's already starting. Most of the pitchers and catchers and probably a lot of the position players, especially the World Baseball Classic guys, which the Brewers have a lot of, they're already in Maryville. They're at the complex right now. And they found out yesterday, while they're probably all there, that their third baseman is no longer on the team. A unique trade to make at this time of the offseason. Obviously, the Brewers do not follow your regular constraints of that other teams follow, of like the offseason timeline. This is how it operates. The timeline for them doesn't really exist. It's whenever you want to make a move, whenever it makes sense, you do it. But that said, this is still an unusual timing for a trade. So we'll get a little more into your thoughts on the timing of it. But first, I want to hear what your reaction was just to the trade in general when you picked up your phone and saw the news alerts yesterday morning, or I guess Monday morning by the time this comes out.
Monday, yeah. I mean, honestly, it was a huge shock. I feel like to a lot of Milwaukee too. Obviously, Durbin, great young guy, great talent, great bat over there at third base. So yeah, it is a surprise. Obviously, you're getting two more lefty pitchers, which are also going to be very helpful for the Brewers, I'm sure, in the later years. That's always what Matt Arnold and Stearns, I guess the upper side on the Brewers, that's always what they're looking for. They're looking for the future. So I think there's still some opportunities that we're going to be looking for sure. We got a spot to fill at third base, but it's, you never question Matt Arnold, man. He's got something up his sleeve always.
So that goes right into the next question that I have here. And this is what I really want to know. Like you step back in that clubhouse, right? Different faces, but the Brewers have operated largely under the same vein since you were last in the org, since you were a player. Matt Arnold's still running the show. You knew him very well. Murph is obviously there. Yelich is kind of the team leader. So there is some continuity, and there's definitely continuity in how they operate relative to when you were a player. Is this like, how would you react to you're getting ready for camp, you're there, and then 3 days before camp officially, quote unquote, begins, your third baseman's gone, and it's not only, I think, that that Caleb Durbin's out. In your place, you got David Hamilton as one infielder in there, and Jet Williams is going to be in the mix as well. But you don't have a proven third baseman. You're coming off a team that won 97 games. I'm just curious as to how you would kind of process this as a player. Like, are you asking those questions, or are you just kind of sitting back and going, you know what? These guys helped us. They put together the 97 win roster last year. I'm just going to trust them. How would you handle this internally or externally?
I mean, internally, obviously, you take it as, it doesn't affect me at all, right? As a pitcher, you still got to go out and do everything you can anyway. But looking at obviously Jet's perspective here, he sees this as an opportunity to go out and prove himself. So this could, maybe Matt Arnold's seeing something there, Murphy's seeing it too, they're not going to just sit there and, poor me, right? It's well, let's go find a third baseman. Let's see what we got internally to see what we can do. And if not, obviously Matt Arnold might even have something else up his sleeve. Maybe they see something out on the market right now that can help out. So, no, I've never experienced a trade
in this spot. Yeah.
This close. Yeah. I know, but that's something you don't question. You go out there, and obviously, the Brewers have always had strong arms. That's always been one of their strong suits. And so they're just building on to that. And, we got some more speed with Hamilton. He's a very quick guy. So, changing it up a little bit.
I mean, at what point did you kind of gain the understanding of like things operate differently here? At what point of your time with the Brewers did you kind of wrap your mind around that?
Man, I'd say, in 17, when we went out and we spent all that money to get Yelich, that was where it kind of all started flipping around. We go and get Yelich, we sign, signed Lorenzo Cain.
Cain.
Yeah, exactly. Low Cain, Yelich, you're making all these moves, and you're like, man, hey, we were always a pitching team. We always had that, and we had our set hitters. But then it was like, hey, let's go out and get some good defense. Let's get some good bats, and then everything started kind of building up. And obviously, we had some young guys coming up. Orlando Arcia at short, who played a huge role, and We had, Manny Pena, and then we go out and get Stephen Vogt at catcher. So I think that, you got those main guys. You still got Yelly. Who's going to be the leader, and he's going to take control, and he's going to, let everybody know, look, it's okay, man. We're fine. We still got our bats. We still got Murph. Everything's going to be good.
I'm curious if with what you've dug into these pitchers with Harrison and Drohan, what's maybe the thing in either their arsenals that you're looking at them and you're like, this is what's most interesting to me? Because the Brewers are, you look at their track record, right? And there's a lot of guys in that room that they went out and they specifically targeted, identified as maybe a guy another team didn't value as highly as they did, whether it's Priester or Coleman Crow, or, oh my gosh, there's more, and I'm blanking on their names right now, but it's Robert Gasser. It's half the young pitching staff. They have a good track record here. So is there anything that you see in these guys that really stands out to you?
I do know. I mean, Hookie and Henderson, especially Hookie, man, they see some things. They're gonna get these guys at an elite level. I haven't really got to watch Drohan a lot. I played with him a little bit in when I was with the White Sox in 23, and watching Harrison a little bit, I can see that he's a high spin rate guy. He's got the mid 90s fastball. So I am liking the look of what he's got. So I can see that he's going to fit right into exactly. I mean, look at this 4-seam slurve, changeup. This is high spin rate guy, mid 90s fastball. This is right up Hook's alley, man. I saw him pitching down in the zone. He's painting targets down, pitching up. He's got the deception. So I think he's definitely going to play a huge factor, and I'm excited to see what he can do this year.
It's a super interesting slot. I guess kind of both of them.
Yeah.
That the Brewers do have a lot of young guys. This kind of fits their mold in a way where it's that low riding fastball. It's got some run to it. That is one thing that's super interesting when I look at this. Like, I see a little bit of like a left-handed Logan Henderson in a little bit of these guys. I think Robert Gasser is another guy that also comes to mind, especially when you watch Drohan. With Harrison in specifically, he's a guy who, look, this is someone who was one of the consensus 30, 40-ish best prospects in baseball a couple of years ago. We see, obviously, everyone loves, no one's going to say, oh, I didn't like Kyle Harrison as a prospect. I don't think Kyle Harrison's got anything good now. But the Brewers specifically also do go out and they like the guys that have that pedigree and are maybe have their stock has maybe deflated a little bit. Priester's one, Andrew Vaughn, another guy. I mean, even some of their minor league signings, like Jordan Adams is on a minor league deal this year. I don't know if he'll be on the big league team, but they value this pedigree. And is there something like in Chris Hook that is just able to get the best out of these guys that other organizations don't? I always do wonder, like, what is the magic trick, so to speak, when someone comes into the org and they tinker a little here, they tinker a little there, and suddenly, like, it's the end product that it's supposed to be, quote unquote.
So Hookie loves his numbers. That's one thing I remember about him, is that he really dives into your metrics, and so what he sees is different than what a lot of guys are just visually seeing. He's seeing not just, that was a great fastball. He is seeing the numbers. It's so what I think that he can bring, obviously, to Harrison and Drohan, what he's done with a lot of guys. Even looking at Ashby is one of those pitchers that if he can just throw that ball, whatever pitch, right down the middle, he's got so much movement that it's going to be disgusting. So I think that Hookie just does a great job of finding what's going to work for you. and then let's see if we can tinker it a little bit to maybe make it a little better. You got your spin rate at 2,300 right now with your fastball. If we can just change this a little bit, move your grip back a little bit, we can get up to 2,400. And that's a huge difference when we're talking 100 RPMs on your fastball. So I think, yeah, look, these guys, Hookie's got it, man. You just got to buy in. You got to trust what he's talking about. Obviously pitch with conviction. Murphy's going to obviously make sure that you're doing everything you can to those strikes. Hookie's always been a big first pitch strike, get ahead in the count. And I think that's what's always made Milwaukee one of the better pitching programs.
Yeah, I've said that. It's hard to figure out who or what the secret to the sauce is for the Brewers, but it feels clear to me that there are a few people that are really important to how this works. This kind of all came up around, what was it, 2023 when Council left, and that was, we thought that was going to be the straw that maybe broke the camel's back, and it turns out they actually have been better the last 2 years. But it does feel like Chris Hook is certainly very important to this mix with how they are constructing this roster. I mean, look, they have one guy with more than 50 big league appearances as a starter in the entire rotation, and they're built around pitching and defense. That for a lot of organizations, you look at that and be like, oh, this rotation is a big weakness. And you're looking at the Brewers, and now and this kind of leads into my next question. And you're like, well, they've got 8 or 9 or 10 super interesting young guys without experience, but this maybe still feels like a strength in a way, which sounds, you look at teams whose rotations are a strength, and you're like, okay, the Blue Jays, they got experience. The Dodgers, they got money and experience. And the Brewers, it's a strength. And Miz is their number 2 or number 3 starter, and that is far from a proven entity. So the question probably that we can wrap the Durbin trade up with that I have for you is this. Where do you feel the starting rotation sits right now? And do you think they need to go get a third baseman? Do you feel like the infield picture as it stands is going to be enough to win this division?
I think that obviously you definitely want to have some experience over at third base. That's your spot over there, right? And I'm not going to say you can't go out and win it. Obviously, you can't go out and win the division if you don't get a third baseman, because we haven't seen Jet. We haven't been able to see Jet over there. Who knows? Maybe David can't handle over there at third base. So I know he's been a second baseman his whole career, but I'd like to see, what spring training has to offer, what we're going to see these guys do, who's going to step into this role. And that's what Milwaukee's always done. It's who's going to step up, who's going to be that next guy. And, I think the rotation right now, look, you still got, as long as Woody can stay healthy and Woody can be him, then you've got him and Miz, obviously, that are going to be your 1-2 punch. And, I'm really excited to watch that unfold. But I think, look, man, if Moose will tell you differently too, if Moose was on here, you go out and get a guy like Moose over at third base and you're set, but obviously, yeah, it's one thing that I always had was a great third baseman. You're very confident over at third. Everything is just a lot easier when you're on the mound too. That's the guy that's coming up to you. You throw around the horn, he's coming up to you. He's giving you that last little bit of wisdom before we go in. It's so I want to see some guys step into this role. Let's see who's going to step up and be that guy.
Yeah, you made a good point there. We don't know what Jet Williams is. That could be good. That could go the other direction. But if I learned one thing from Caleb in his short tenure in Milwaukee, it's that sometimes you have to check your priors as a writer, as a reporter watching it, because it did not look good in spring training, especially in the field. And this kid's 5'7", generous 5'7", and you're like, that's not going to work at the hot corner. There's no way. His reads were bad. His first step was bad, and then you look at the numbers and you watch the games too, and he turned out to be a pretty dang good third baseman by the end of it. So if Jet Williams, by all accounts, has a very similar makeup and maybe even a little more athletic, just naturally than Durbin, I'm not going to put anything past him on what he can or can't do or what he can or can't play, even if, the scouting reports say, like, I don't know if he's going to be a shortstop. I don't know. Maybe one of these left side positions could actually work. I'm certainly not going to rule it out. So, Corey, we're 20 minutes in. Like I said, we're going to try to keep these around 25, 30 minutes max. So let's go into our third and final topic of this inaugural Brewer Territory pod. One big question that you have still for this Brewers team, if they're going to win the division. Do you want to start, or should I kick us off?
Well, I'll start us off here. Let's see. We got the back end of the bullpen. Obviously, that's what I love. I love paying attention.
That's your thing?
Yeah, I love seeing who we got back there. We got Uribe. We got lefty hard throw.
Koenig.
What?
Jared Koenig.
Koenig.
Big guy.
I'm blanking on it. You still got those 1-2 punches back there too. And I think that, as long as we can get Yelly staying healthy back to his MVP self and Woody back to his self as well. Look, I think that, we've got a lot of opportunities right there.
I think Brandon Woodruff there is an interest. Like, I don't want to say the big question, maybe, because we know what he can do when he's right. Like, there's no question about it. It's just we haven't seen him be. I don't want to say we haven't seen him be himself, because he was still really good last year, but we haven't seen the fully healthy version of him, and they are banking a lot on him in this rotation without Freddie. Do you agree with that?
Yes, that was also the Freddie trade. I mean, that was surprising, obviously, but not a shock also, with one year of control left. But yeah, I think obviously, look, you're going all out right here, and Woody has been shown, or has proven, that he can be the guy, and he's ready, man. So I think you got to throw him the reins, let him take it, and let's see where we go.
And it's important. I think it's important to note too, he has to be the guy. Like, we know he can be the guy, but like, if suddenly, I don't think you want a rotation of 5 rookies. The Brewers, I'm not going to put it past them and pulling it off, right? But it seems clear that they are banking a lot on him, and Frank, let's call it what it is, right? You're making $23 million in Milwaukee. I don't think you ever had that burden quite on your shoulders of being the $23 million guy in Milwaukee, but no one has. That's the whole point. No pitcher has ever come close to sniffing that kind of contract in Milwaukee. So there is pressure that maybe comes along with that. From your experience with Big Woo, how do you think he handles this role of clearly being the guy, and suddenly there's a dollar tag that's associated with your production, and like Christian Yelich has maybe dealt with that a little bit at times earlier in his extension? And how do you think, from what you know of Big Woo, and you know him pretty well from all those years playing together, how do you see him stepping into that role and handling the pressure?
This is the guy to do it. Big Woo ain't a guy to fall under pressure. You put that price tag on him, on me, I'm gonna feel that pressure a little more. I think there's a huge difference on what he's doing. That guy is not feeling any pressure. From what I know about Woodruff is, look, this is exactly where he needs to be. He's stepping into this. He's going to own up to it, and this is my role. I am going to be that guy who's going to help everyone else out. It's you put the ball in my hands, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to take control. I got this. No worries. I think what they're doing, it's giving him this chance to go out, prove you're the guy, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Love it. I think a lot of people know that. I think people know that, but they love to hear it. I think there's a lot of appreciation, admiration for the person from Brewers fans. Seeing him keep re-signing and stick with them throughout this tenure. I'll just get to my question that I still have. I mean, this was my question probably before the Durbin trade. It's definitely my question after. It's, does this offensive style work to the level it did last year again? They don't hit home runs, and they finished third in the league in runs scored last year. That just doesn't happen in today's game, much less the game in general. They clearly do have an identity. There's no denying that. Like, they're not just trying to piece this together. It seems that they feel like this can work again. My question though is it going to work? It felt at times last year like, how sustainable is this offense when you don't ultimately have a ton of slug? It came and went at times. Like, I think August they hit a bunch of homers last year, and they do have guys that hit homers. Yelly has power. Terang is growing into it. Contreras, especially if the thumb's healthy, can hit homers. Vaughn, we know, can do it. But there are still a lot of other questions about it. So I'm curious what you think about the offense's ability to produce at that level, or just at a high level again with they don't slug a bunch.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's where, as a pitcher, you kind of came in knowing every game that, there's a chance that I'm coming in and there's a chance that it's going to be a close game. There's always that opportunity. And that's just how from 2017 on, because 2016 and 15, obviously, I saw a little shift. We were trying to be that slugging team, and look how our record was. We slugged, but we still weren't the pitching team like we were after that, and we have been since. So, I think there's obviously different teams that kind of play different fields. You got the Phillies, right? You got the Phillies who are heavy swinging away, man, and they're going to score runs. You can never doubt that. But, there's always some questions on the bullpen side as well.
And the defense there too.
And the defense exactly. There. Yep. So when you look at the Brewers, it's what you've always seen. You see pitching, you see defense, and you see small ball. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, we're going to have Vaughn, we're going to have Yelly step into some. They're going to hit some homers. You're going to have some of those. But it makes it very exciting, obviously, as maybe the fans don't see it as exciting. Why aren't we hitting home runs? Why aren't we scoring more runs? We're winning 1-0, 2-1. As a bullpen guy, that's a very exciting game. Okay.
And I do think last year was an exciting brand. Like, nationally, the Brewers started to get a little more attention for the way they played. And ultimately we win 97 games. Like, you could probably play however you want. People are going to think it's fun, but I do think people rallied behind, because there's identities, like the Sal identity, kind of like the Durbin identity sort of like fuels the whole team as well. So we'll see if our big questions end up being answered in a positive way for the Brewers, if they do score enough runs, if Brandon Woodruff can be the number one, if the rotation has enough guys behind him. Look, Corey, we've done it. Yep. Show number 1, baby.
I've seen crazier things happen, man.
I think we're in the books for this one. Again, please, I didn't mention this earlier. I'm gonna have to really try to remember this. Like and subscribe on YouTube, on whatever your podcast platform of choices. That will go a long way to helping us out as we get started here. We're gonna keep coming at you. Baseball, baby. It's here.
Baseball,
I think I'm excited about that. I got to work again.
I'm excited. I got a job, man, and I get to cover the Brewers. This is exciting, man.
I was gonna say, is there like an itch, or like, is it weird not like getting everything in your car and going out to Arizona? Yeah,
it's
a little
strange,
weird.
But luckily, me and my wife talked, and we got spring break happening for the kids mid-March, and we're going to make a trip out to Arizona. I'm going to go see the guys, go check everybody out. Check out Maryville. So,
all right, I'll see you there.
We'll get a live show going that time. All right.
Oh yeah, maybe this is when we get Murph.
There we go.
Put some pressure on him. Put some pressure on him.
He'll come on.
So hey, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to the premiere episode of Brewer Territory on the Foul Territory Network. We're coming at you 3 times a week during the season. So make sure we are squared away firmly in your podcast / YouTube feeds. I'm Curt Hogg for Corey Knebel. Thank you for joining us.